You're listening to Systemic Era Podcast. The failure was designed.
Lid blown off of Trump's defiant new midterm strategy, based on an article by Thomas Keeke. Trump can lose the midterms and still win the party. The real power is not in the numbers. Axios reports that Trump is acting as if he does not care whether Republicans get crushed in the midterms. That detail matters because it identifies where the actual power sits. It is not with the nervous Republicans in Washington, who are apparently trying to manage a man who has no interest in their survival. It is with Trump, who can shrug at electoral damage because the party has already been reorganized around his personal leverage. The story is not about a president losing discipline. It is about a political system in which discipline no longer has to mean governing. Trump does not need a healthy congressional caucus to keep control. He needs obedience money and a base that treats him as the party itself. The midterms are secondary to the machine. The article makes plain that Trump's thinking runs far beyond the next election. Even if Democrats take the House or Senate, Axios says he expects to emerge just as strong inside Republican politics, with an even more loyal Congress and less internal resistance. That is the point. The midterms are a procedural event, not a constraint. Republicans who still talk as if the election will force a course correction are pretending the party operates on normal incentives. It does not. Trump has already taught the GOP that losing office is acceptable if he keeps the movement, the donor flow, and the right to decide who gets punished and who gets rewarded. He is not misunderstood. He is choosing damage. The source knows that Trump has failed to end the disastrous Iran war he started and has made dismissive statements about voters' financial hardship. That is not confusion. That is political choice. He is signaling that the suffering of ordinary people is not central to his calculus, because it is not what disciplines him. This is where a lot of political coverage still misdirects blame. It frames Trump as erratic, undisciplined, or detached, as if the problem were temperament. The problem is power. A leader who can ignore voter pain and survive the consequences is not out of control. He is operating in a system built to absorb his contempt. The GOP built a court, not a coalition. Axios describes a future Republican Congress that will be even more MAGA, with Trump critics gone and loyalists elevated. That is not merely a personnel change. It is a purge by attrition. The party is not competing over ideas. It is sorting itself into obedience. The names in the report make that plain. If Trump keeps his grip, committee chairs and prospective successors will be selected for loyalty, not independence. Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, and Rick Scott are presented as the kind of lawmakers who would inherit power through Trump's line of succession. Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever their differences, are treated as examples of the shrinking space for anything resembling inter-party dissent. The message is simple. The Republican Party no longer exists as an institution that can check its own leader. Cash is the policy. The most revealing part of the report is the bluntness about money. Trump likes that people give him money when he asks. He likes being able to tell ambitious Republicans that their power is measured by their bank account. That is not an aside. It is a governing model. This is what the article gets right by accident. Trump's power is transactional, personal, and monetized. Influence is not routed through policy, success, or institutional legitimacy. It flows through donations, endorsements, and the threat of exclusion. The presidency becomes a brand amplifier and an extraction engine. Public office is not the reward for service. It is the means of converting politics into private leverage. The pattern is raw, not chaos. The larger pattern here is not simply that Trump is disinterested in governance. It is that the Republican Party has adapted itself to a leader who treats governance as incidental and loyalty as the only durable currency. That creates a political structure where elections matter less than control of the apparatus after the election, where policy is subordinate to spectacle, and where institutional damage is recast as personality. The real scandal is not that Trump may not care if Republicans lose. It is that his party has made the indifference survivable. A Democratic coalition cannot afford to mistake this for normal partisan hardball. It is what happens when an entire political operation accepts personalized rule, financial tribute, and intimidation as the price of staying relevant. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternate for today's article with the automated voice of Labritz. Thanks for listening.